Hello, hello, hello. This video is for 1. You are a character who loves spooky stuff, right? You with me? 2. The person from Southern California who hasn't saved up enough money to go see Southern California. Any other part of the US? Any other part of the world? Here you go. Here I am. This is what this video is for. For my girlies trying to save enough money to buy a car to get out there, I'm here for you too. Anyways, if you're any one of those people, go ahead and press the like button in the comment. And especially if you breathe, that would be fantastic for me. Thank you. Now let's go back to the video. Black Star Canyon. You might be asking, why is this girl talking about canyons? Does she have a fascination for canyons? Why does the last video she talked about mention a spooky canyon with spooky stuff? Okay, here's my thing. We should rename the definition of a canyon to something that has a questionable history with vehicles transporting large amounts of people crashing into it, and tragedies. If that place can be defined by those 3 distinct historical events, I think we should call it a canyon at this point, because what else are they? I'm not sure if they're just dirt anymore. They seem to be a breeding ground for suspicious activity. Anyways, I was looking for scary places. That is the answer. Why is this girl talking about canyons? She was looking for scary places. I like being spooked, okay? It's a hobby. I like feeling things every once in a while. There you go. And here we go. I looked it up, found this place in Orange County. Questionable history, check. People with ghost stories, check. Ghost activity, you are about to find out. I really like Pocky. I'm sorry I'm munching while I'm speaking. As with everything else, there's frightening stories. The first I want to touch on was a kid, a teenager, if you may, in high school, you know, doing what teenagers do best. Sneaking out without their parents' permission, finding secluded, dangerous places to hang out, and having questionable things happen to them that they will still not reconcile with 30 years later. I digress. This kid, you know, they're hiking around, they're walking around. I've been to that trail. At night, it would be a nice little easy hike. It's very small incline, very reasonable. You don't even notice it at first, actually. But on the way back, it's a little bit more noticeable. And so these kids went on this hike, you know, they didn't say they were drinking, but we can imagine here. They go out till they see this abandoned bus, okay? This bus, there's 2 versions of the story. Supposedly the bus originally passed through to take some of the residents that live there to school, and it crashed. The second is that I found somewhere that they were saying the bus is made by the locals there with a made-up ghost story, and that if you actually go into the bus, apparently you can tell it was being changed into the RV life stuff, and it was just trash there afterwards. It's probably more of an art project. These group of kids finally get there, you know, and they hear someone crying, and you know, they think it's a good idea to turn back. Reasonable, understandable. So when they head back to their car, they notice some like shadowy figure back at the bus as they're talking, and they're like, oh, you know, somebody's here too. Okay, well, it is good time to go and wrap up. So they go and continue to leave. As they're leaving, they notice the body gets bigger and bigger. So it is getting closer and closer to them. As that person is getting closer to them, our narrator decides to walk towards him with a flashlight and ask him what he needs, what he wants. Why is he following them? And as he gets closer and is finally able to shine the light on his face, he is in shock. Why? Because he sees himself staring right back at him. He saw his doppelganger, and he just turned around and thought to himself, you know what? It's a crazy night, going home. The next morning, this poor child gets a phone call from his ex-girlfriend, who is a few cities over that he notes. This call is meant to ask him what he was doing near her home. Excuse me, buddy. But this is when you kind of tell your ex that they're psycho and, you know, like, you're crazy. I would not drive over a few cities, especially in the Orange County area, where cities are quite far apart from each other. They are not as close as like LA, where like the way you can drive is like 15 minutes. I'm thinking of more of like, oh, you're driving through the city that's a half an hour long. And then if it's a city over another city, yeah, I want to say it's like half an hour to hour drive. It's a commitment is what I'm trying to say. And, you know, it's a school night, you know, this is what happened. You know, why would he be over there? And you really have to wonder, did he see his doppelganger? So that's where this story ends, right? And you really have to wonder what you would do, right? They heard a woman crying and then they see a guy that looks like him. Kind of spooky, kind of spooky. And so if you're wondering about why would it be so frightening to people that they would leave when they hear a woman crying, I mean, I hope you don't ask that question. I hope that you would just know, like, you know, domestic violence is possibly a thing, but also, like, you know, like women crying, ooh, there's probably a sign to get the fuck out of here. Or maybe she's laughing. Hopefully it's a prank. Hopefully there's a prank being pulled on some poor lady out there and she's just, you know, and gone. Everything's done. But no. So apparently there is La Llorona that comes to this area. So here's the thing. I don't mean to say it questionably. I kind of doubt it, but, you know, because there's another version. Of course, there's like about 2 or 3 that I know of in general. But most of them line up with the fact that she was a witch being hunted, trying to save her kids. That's one version of the story. Another version of the story, like basically there was witchcraft done on her and they summoned the devil, and the devil's lover possessed her spirit, and the possessed spirit drowned her kids. And the last one is that she was told by this being to prove her love by this being said to drown her children. And ever since then, since she came to, that she has been looking for her children ever since. And you're in the way. Move. Those are the stories that I've heard, but somehow they changed to jealousy in this one. Kind of have some rough feelings about it if you can't tell. So up until this point, till I've actually learned about the canyon, I've never actually heard about this version of the story, where apparently she gets jealous of her husband and the husband's attention towards the children, so she drowns them. And they say that this probably came to because of the water that's there. There's like a little river area. Now it's really dry, but I guess back in the day it used to be way more. So that's where the origins of the Screaming Lady comes from. And apparently, literally, in every video I was watching, that's what was happening. This, like, there was always constant, like, in the distance screams, you know what I mean, of this lady. And I was like, yo, like, that's actually kind of crazy because, I mean, you should run. I don't want no crazy, scary ghost lady chasing after me. That's, like, the last thing I want. So I was, like, hoping to at least hear that, and sadly, we did not. But you know what we did find? We did find a true horror story in the canyon. As we were headed over, we had grabbed our chicken nuggies and we were actually just talking for funsies and trying to figure out like what there was to talk about the canyon. So when we go to the canyon, it was actually really fucking cool. And we found out that the real life horror of this canyon is 2 residents apparently, Black Star Bill and an Art Tuttle. I'm not sure from what I was reading if they are the same person, if we can even claim the same things. Let's just say one was notorious for harassing anybody who would go into his property, apparently. They say that they would just like kind of hike around the trail, but I have a feeling like they went onto his property because the way that it's set up is when you walk in, there's like just nothing but dirt. I mean, you wouldn't even see it. And then the twists and turns start happening, right? And there's like these giant metal gates that lead to private property. They all tell you do not enter private property, blah, 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 blah. These are all people who have been grandfathered in from before when this was BLM land. And apparently this guy named Black Star Bill was crazy. Like apparently this dude would like straight up no warning shot just shoot at people with pellet guns, and then like he would shoot into the air once in a while with an actual shotgun, and it was just crazy stuff. But apparently he used to do this to everybody, bikers that would drive through his property, everybody. Like they would, like he would give no warning sometimes. And you know, as people get older, I can believe it. Oh, I can believe it. And it was just super funny at some points because they basically said that nothing would ever happen really until he shot at like a DA. So that's like a district attorney. And that's the only reason why they pursued him. And so apparently he was like straight up taken to jail and like everything finally. And like he had been doing this for eons, for years. And like I was just like kind of giggling at it because like poor dude, you know, he went and tried to evade taxes, I'm assuming. I'm joking. This is all for legal purposes. Anything I'm about to say from this point on isn't like, it's just, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Because how else would you evade taxes? Especially property taxes in California. Yeah, fuck that shit. But yeah, you know, so he did what he could. He built it on land that people weren't going to be around, probably hated people, then probably got so discouraged when it turned into a popular hiking area. And yeah, he would like harass the shit out of them apparently. And there were some people that went on there to say that he was like, it was definitely like not one-sided. Like a lot of people got harassed, but like also because they were probably on his property, which is extremely believable. And I'm not smiling, just so everybody knows, I'm not smiling because I think it's okay. I'm smiling because, but like in like a non-mean way, you know, I wish nobody got hurt. I also wish it didn't have to be that way, but you know, people be people, you know, just be a good human. Just go enjoy your life. Why you gotta bug people? You know what I mean? Just gosh, like leave the poor guy alone. But then also to the guy, leave the poor kids alone. Anyways, so nobody knows like what really happened to him after that. And then apparently like there was another dude who like people had gone to church with, and they really recognized him for going into church barefoot. He had crazy stories from the canyon, and you know, actually, what was funny was when we were leaving the canyon, there was actually this lady in her, it was a Chevy, but it was like a particular type of Chevy where I was like, dang, I was like, you ain't got no gas nearby. Like, how do you manage? Yeah. And she was just staring us down. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, like when you live that far out by yourself, you're bound to like, you know, want some type of human interaction when you leave your house. And, you know, she was just smiling at us. And we're like, hey, don't know who you are. Don't know how you got a car up here. And then I realized, oh yeah, people live here. So on top of all this, so far we got a doppelganger. And then we got some lady screaming in the distance. It may have been the lady that I met. Who knows? And then, actually, that would be so funny because some of the houses we never saw. What if she was the lady just screaming randomly whenever somebody would come in at night? She just wanted to scare the living shit out of them. That would be fucking hilarious, bro. That would be so fucking good. Oh my god, I didn't think about that till now. That would be fucking hilarious. So after all of this commotion and really diving into it, when we went that night, it was really, really odd. I got me one of these, and my SO got one of these. This is an electric one.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh wait, maybe it's...
Well, maybe move the camera away.
Oh.
Nope, it's here.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, like, let's walk with me a little bit. So, this was not going off at all in the car. It was giving us the highest magnetic field readings.
Yeah.
You can see how that's getting... that we had seen in the dark. And then we were going towards, like, little patches of stuff. And all of a sudden, like, it stopped beeping entirely, okay?
Yeah? Oh, yeah, it is. Huh.
See, now all of a sudden, it's like, no, you had your chance.
Damn.
See?
They got bored with it.
Yeah. Bro, look, I'm serious.
No, I'm serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, you're right. Usually when we come in, like, there it is. They're coming back. They're hungry.
No, dude, that's it. Okay, now I'm freaked out.
Okay.
Now I'm really freaked out. Why is it like... Wait, but we were literally getting something crazy right?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Actually, yeah, you think these things would be like constant?
Well, it's constant if it's like an actual field.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
Like, the reading was gone, everything was gone. And like, I don't know why, but my boyfriend had told me like, hey, you know, like you just started walking away from me randomly and I didn't even like, you didn't even say anything. You didn't even warn. You didn't say we were going back to the car. You just started walking. And honestly, I didn't even realize that I did that. But I was really creeped out all of a sudden for like no reason, even though we had a really bright light and could see around us. And it was so silent, you could hear like any nudge, anything. And so we get back to the car and we were going to play with the Ouija board. And mind you, we left when this stopped beeping altogether. It stopped going off. Like all of a sudden in those spots that we were getting readings from, they disappeared entirely. And when we turned to go look, this person like just comes out of nowhere. And like at first I literally looked back because like I saw like a moving light. I realized it's the hand motion, but I thought it was like a sprite because it was just like you know, like a circular type of light. And I was like, oh fuck, dude. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, like I really hope I'm not actually seeing a ghost. I feel like I'd go crazy. And then when they get closer, they turn off their light entirely. So I don't know if it was just the spirits warning us to go to get out of there, but they definitely were not like having it, right? We decided to go back the next morning when it was brighter so that I wouldn't be freaked out and we would be okay and we would know if people are actually in the canyon or not, or like in the walkway areas, right? So then the next morning we go and there is still no more readings and we're passing by tons of places. It's just randomly going off and I'm like really convinced now because now I get how it works. Like the item for it to go off when it has a high readings needs to be touching it. Like it physically has to be like so close to it. If not, it like nothing happens. So it's pretty fucking sensitive, right? And so when we were passing through, there was like these high areas of super condensed high voltage, but nothing was going off in the beginning of the trail like it was that previous night. And so I was confused. And then when I was done being confused, we ended up hiking up a little bit further. We never saw this waterfall that's supposedly there. We never got to like the bus. We never saw it. We didn't see anything. And we just saw a bunch of like places that had no trespassing signs. And so we finally get to like this bridge area and it's so hot and it was so hard to get over there. And we were just like, okay, you know what? Like we need to head back. If nothing comes up, nothing comes up. Pulled out the Ouija board, nothing came up. And I was like, okay, it's a dud, right? Everything's fine. And as we walk back, I'm just holding it to see if we get any readings. And on the way up, we were getting absolutely nothing. This kept going off all of a sudden. Like it was walking with us. I think there's one walking with us because now it won't stop. Like, yeah, it won't stop now. And this happens, but not often. But I think they're walking with us, like legitimately, because this wasn't happening at all. Like we were walking up this entire trail and nothing was going off. So the fact that it is now, I don't know what else to say. But like, I guess it's cool walking with you. Just I think you're better off staying at home, as in here, and not coming home with us, right?
Definitely.
But yeah, anyways, okay, sorry. I asked him to pull out the recorder again because it just kept going. Like now it's just still going, and we're like twisting and winding. Show him the, like, I think it was like literally walking with us. And like, I don't know, it was just crazy. I was just like, okay, so is that thing, like, it's just going off. And now that I know like how I've been testing it and everything, like, bro, it's not going off right now. You know, and there was plenty of like zero electricity, zero magnetic field areas. Then all of a sudden, as I'm swinging my arm, right, like I'm walking like a normal person, it starts going off. And they're just walking with me, keeping my pace. And you could see it. Like you could see like the voltage area, it was going like up and down. And I was just like, but it was still like, you know, detecting something. And I was like, that is crazy. So yeah, anyways, that is our exploration on Black Star Canyon. Really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed some of the footage that we recorded. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I had to re-record this whole story just because it was all over the place the first time. I'm finally happy to be able to sit down and like give you guys a good one. Anyways, I'm going to be trying to work really hard to get out a video every week from now on as my semester is coming up to a wrap. And I have more free time coming up soon. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!